Hello, hello. Welcome to the health hierarchy, which today is going to look like a graph. We've got, what did you say?
Hopefully it's
Yes.
visible.
Yeah, should be. So, when we're talking about health and fitness, two of the most important things to the majority of people are going to be your body composition and longevity. So you want to be doing the things you love for a long time, and while you do them, hopefully feeling great, looking great. So we're going to break down what activities, what nutrition styles and practices, what lifestyle components, recovery techniques, and supplements can help with both of these things, and to what degree. So we'll go through each of those categories. And we'll talk about some of the most common methods or ideas that are being thrown around, things that people are doing, and we'll place them on the graph based on what research shows, if they're better for body composition or longevity or both, or not terribly effective for the effort that you have to put in. So we'll start off with our activities. So we'll start off, of course, with, let me get over here. All right, cool. We're going to start off with strength training. And I'm going to say strength training specifically for building muscle. So there's going to be strength training that is more like performance based. And then there's also going to be strength training that can be for optimized for building muscle. And so when we have strength training for building muscle, really, I think it belongs like directly on this line where we have equal for body composition and longevity. And I'd say it's pretty like it's pretty high up there for both. This might be one of the biggest ones. And yes, we are we are not only a health and fitness team, but also a bodybuilding team. So there may be a slight amount of bias here, but it's also true.
Yeah, I mean bias, but not bias. I mean, research shows that for longevity, for sarcopenia, osteoporosis, all those things, like that's the most beneficial. That's how you keep your bones strong, you keep your muscles strong. So on the longevity side, if you want to stay mobile as you get older, it is strength training. And that doesn't mean like not just strength training to aesthetically look good or whatever. It's just strength training to stay moving and keeping all of those parts that I just mentioned strong. So yes, bias, but not really a bias either. Like research backs it up for sure.
Mm-hmm. So then from there, strength training, and we'll say performance focused. So this could be things like, I mean, I don't want to include the weightlifting sports like powerlifting and Olympic lifting. I do consider those more of a sport. But performance focused meaning like if you're training for sports like explosiveness or power or other things that would help you, speed, things that may indirectly build muscle but are not like focused and optimized for muscle building. So for this one, let's move this guy probably, and Shalace, you can help me on this one, but I feel like equal longevity but slightly less impact on body composition.
I would agree with that.
Because you're still going to get the benefits of lifting weights, but the effects on your body composition will just be slightly less than what you would see if you were focused on building muscle with your strength training. All right, cardio. So I have low intensity steady state, medium intensity steady state, and high intensity interval training. All three of which are different like intensity levels of cardio. And so I think it would be beneficial to break them out. But
yes.
yes. So we'll break them out, but before we like place them, I do want to say that each one has it like can play a very important part. So depending on your personal goals with each of these, one might be more beneficial than the other, and the quantity that you do of each would be different for each person's goals. But if we're just generally speaking, Shalice, I'd like to have you tell me where you would place these.
Oh gosh, thanks for putting me on the spot. For okay, so here I am as far as cardio goes for all of these. List for sure, I would say it would be more longevity based. As far as I'm trying to think of all of them, like, yeah, even medium state, it would be longevity, and hit, I would say, yeah, longevity. Because here's the thing, like cardio is for your heart health. Everyone thinks it's like, oh, that's how I'm going to lose all my fat. Well, no, it's your heart. It's going to build your heart for your cardiovascular purposes and your VO2 max, that kind of stuff. So it's more longevity than it is about changing your body fat. So.
Mm-hmm. And what about like, I know a lot of times when people will start a prep, some coaches will like start them out with HIIT. Can you explain why? Is that something that you do?
Yes. So HIIT, because usually at the start of prep, and it depends, of course, depending on the athlete, how much body fat they have to lose, where they're at already, what they're already doing. But yes, usually HIIT at the start of prep because you have more carbs in you. So you're going to be using the energy from the carbs to support the HIIT. As you're getting deeper into prep and closer to a show, you don't have that energy, you don't have the carbs. So you want to back off and make sure recovery is in a good spot. So then you would kind of start switching to more of that low impact steady state because it's more a recovery tool, but also helping burn the calories as well. So HIIT when you have the energy, when you have, you know, the body fat there to support the joints, all of that going on, and then switching to more low impact stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've placed LIS and MIS on the same level for body composition, but medium intensity steady state slightly better for longevity. HIIT I put slightly higher on body composition, slightly less on longevity. Do you agree with the body composition part of
For
that?
HIIT,
Yeah.
I'm kind of going back and forth on that one. That's why I'm trying to think on that one.
Yeah. We'll keep it like there for now.
Yeah.
We can sleep on it.
So I'm curious about your low impact for longevity versus medium impact.
I think, well, isn't the majority of cardio that you should be doing, shouldn't it be in the medium intensity, and then low is like less percentage, and then HIIT is small percentage? So like the extremes where it's like low intensity and HIIT, you have, let's say, sorry dog, you have like, I don't know, 20% coming from those two, and then 80% coming from medium intensity, or what ratio would you say is good?
Well, so here's my thing. So with low impact steady state, like that would be more like stuff that's easier on the joints. So
Oh, are we talking about low impact or low intensity?
Oh, I was saying low impact. I guess we should clarify that. You're saying low intensity steady state.
Yeah.
Well, still, I would argue that. So low intensity would be, I mean, are you like, wouldn't walking be considered low intensity?
Maybe like a speed walk, like a prancer size, if you will.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sorry, I always call
Um,
this low impact, steady state.
okay. Yeah, so like medium intensity would be, I mean, if you're using like heart rate as a way to judge that, I would usually say that's between like 60% and 75% of max heart rate. There's like different numbers everywhere you look, it seems, but in
Yeah.
general, it's going to be like above 50%, but definitely below 80%. And I feel like that's one thing that we could follow up on, is if there is a difference in longevity. Like if low intensity steady state just doesn't get your heart rate high enough for it to have the same benefits that medium intensity does. I just think that at low intensity, I don't know that your breath and your heart rate really gets to a point that it's pushing any kind of boundaries, but medium intensity you do. Obviously with HIIT, you push those boundaries, but you're also not doing it for quite as long. So we can put them at same together.
My big thing is like we just got to get people moving, like whether you know what I mean, because
Mhm.
like, just getting steps in is is hard for people. Intentionally getting the steps that are needed is super hard. And so, I mean, if you're one of those people who are constantly like, that's not a big deal and it's easy to get 10,000 steps a day, then yeah, then we advance to the moderate intensity and have a little mix of that. But that's so that one is, it depends for me as far as
Okay,
longevity goes.
cool. Yeah, we'll stack them then.
Yeah.
And we can move this guy there. Alrighty. Next up, we've got some like defined activities. So things like long distance running. Extreme endurance athletes may see some like detrimental effects depending on how often you're doing it. But as long as you recover from that, in theory, it should be good. But long distance running is kind of like, it's not something that we're going to be prescribing to clients. It's something that clients will do that we will work around and make sure you can recover from. So it has like the same benefits as doing the other forms of cardio, but maybe just a little bit less focused on longevity. So we could put that, let's see. Endurance sports. So like probably matching
Hit.
yeah, matching HIIT on the longevity.
That's another one. Like you were saying, nothing we would prescribe. I mean, that's one of those that's eventually that's going to be really hard on your joints.
Mhm. Yeah. And then another activity, swimming. Okay, hear me out. I think swimming is like the goat of cardio. Um,
I don't disagree. And for exactly what we were just talking about, way easier on joints, all the things. And I mean, and and if you're terrible at it like me, like one time down the pool, that's high intensity training right there.
yeah. Should we match longevity with Miss and Liz?
Yeah, I would say even maybe even more.
Is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Um, sports. Sports in
So hold on, I want
general.
to go back to endurance sports
Yeah.
because coming from a cycling background, that's one of those where I would say running and cycling are two very different levels of endurance sports. And again, impact, where I think cycling would be a lot easier on the body than running would. So
Yeah.
I would like to maybe differentiate that one a little bit. And I know we don't have to go like every
Granular.
single thing, but just to, I could see some people going, well, what about cycling versus running? Because that's an extreme, you know.
Yeah. Was there like should I say like long distance cycling or
just, well, because you were talking about endurance sports, and cycling is one of those that would be an endurance sport.
yeah. So we can place this like
Yeah, almost as, yeah.
let's do that so that it's like, why are you putting so many things in here? Right in between hit and long distance. Yeah. Okay. We got sports. For sports, probably like definitely not going to be as good for longevity. And mostly in this sense, when we're talking about longevity, we're talking about cardiovascular health. Um, with sports, they probably won't be improving your joint health. They probably won't be improving your mobility. Those are things that you're going to be doing in order to be better at your sport. So there's like an indirect benefit. But this playing the sport itself, like doing the game, doing the practice, probably isn't going to push you over the edge with either body composition or longevity. It's the stuff that you do around your sport that make you an athlete, that make your body healthier. So as long as your recovery for sports is good, I'd say, yeah, same body composition as hit, but maybe slightly less for longevity, just because in sports there's a big variation of like what your heart rate will be. What are you doing? Like, is golf your sport? Because that's not the same as playing like basketball. It's not the same as playing hockey or, so
Yeah.
we'll just group them all in there. But okay. And I got 3 more in the activity category. So we got daily step count, which, let's move this guy. Daily step count. How do you feel about this, Shalise? Because the daily step count is like, you're not really like
It would be lower on body comp.
Yeah. But also slightly, I feel like it has to be slightly lower on longevity but it depends. Like if you're consistent with your cardio, that's going to be really good. But the idea of like, if cardio is the only movement you get every day, that's just as bad as like just getting a high daily step count and no other activity. I feel like I kind of want to just put it like same level for longevity, depending on how it's being used and adhered to.
I think it's one of the most underrated things that you can do, for sure. Like,
it is.
Just walk. Just go walk.
Do anything. Don't just sit on the computer like we are right now.
Right.
Hopefully anyone listening is moving around. Be doing your cardio. Yeah, I think that's good for now. Okay, I put functional work. And what I mean by that is like specific mobility, balance, flexibility work, things that you would definitely want to focus on as you're aging, but stuff that's good to do when you're young as well. And then you already know how to do it when you get old. So I'll say functional work. Functional work. I think this is like, we're going to put it on longevity. We'll probably put it below a daily step count, but at the same level of body comp. Like if you're working on your balance and mobility and flexibility, you're going to be putting your body in positions that will for sure help with longevity and injury prevention and things like that. So that guy there. And then the last one in the activity section, yoga, Pilates, reformer, that kind of activity. Do you want to break those out, Shalise? Or can we group them?
I think let's group them.
Okay. Moment of truth.
I think it's right there with functional work.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more dedicated. Or not dedicated, a little bit more intense so we can bump it up on body comp, but
yeah, and I still don't know that it, I don't know, supports body comp.
if you have a really intense Pilates instructor,
Yeah,
I mean, we're almost at the bottom. Should we put it below? What'd you say?
I said still no for me on that one, but
We'll group them like so. Okay. Okay, those are all of our activities. Are there any activities here that you'd like to add, Shalise? Ones that anything that may have been missed? Something you want to single out?
no, I think that was good. That covered a lot. That covered quite a bit. You
Cool.
group other things in some of the other ones, so.
Okay. All right, next up is nutrition. So let's start with counting calories. Okay, and we have to kind of decide here with nutrition, anything that we talk about with nutrition is going to help with your longevity, because it will, but it's almost like it helps with your longevity because of your body composition as a result of the nutrition. So maybe nutrition wants to fall like right in the middle here of the longevity. So for counting calories, I'm going to say it's on the line just like strength training is, but just lower.
Why?
Well, maybe not. I'm trying to figure out where we want to put nutrition. Let's get them all on the board here. We got counting calories. Okay. We got tracking macros.
Okay, so yeah, I was just gonna say we get to differentiate between just calories and macros. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right. I'm with you now.
Yeah, we got tracking macros, counting calories, restrictive diets like low fat, keto, intermittent fasting, which we could break out if we wanted to. And then the only one I have for nutrition is fiber. Broke that one out. There's other stuff in supplements, but those are like very much supplements. So any you want to add to our nutrition section before we place?
No.
Okay.
All right. Right now, let me think about it for a minute, though. You can talk. I was excited.
Well, we can start with the king tracking macros. Can we just put it here? Like, is that okay?
Yes.
I kind of want to just put these a little bit so we have some space here. Okay. So counting calories?
I would say it's
If it's done properly, it in theory should be equal for longevity, but I don't think that that's the case most of the time. So I would argue that it is going to be still above strength training for both. Well, for like, okay, if someone's not caring about what they eat, but they are strength training, their body composition would be one thing. And then if they are counting calories, but they are not strength training, their body composition would be another thing. And in those extreme scenarios, I think that the body composition achieved by strength training alone. Oh, it's tough.
what are you gonna say? Oh,
I
strength
don't
training.
know.
Because here I am. So okay, so a lot of people that come to me are counting calories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or kind of counting calories.
Yes.
They're, so I guess you have to help me with clarifying counting calories and tracking macros, because their calories can be, I'm hitting within this range, but their macros are shit. So ah um I mean, because if you're strength training and you're not eating enough protein,
You're not going to get the same results.
yeah, you're
Like there's a reason that you can have people who play sports or do sports where they are lifting weights and they're building muscle and they're just like eating to fuel their body, and they may have like a higher body fat percentage than they want to, but dang, they got some muscle on them. And when you do cut down that and you lower their body fat percentage, that's when like these people basically walk on stage. It's their first competition and they're getting their pro card because they're so jacked, because they've just been like eating and lifting for so long. Even if the quality of the calories were not like optimal. So
and I do like that you moved it down off that line though. I think I like that better.
yeah, to where, yes, it's like longevity alone, if you count your calories, like keeping your body at a healthy body fat level is super, super important.
Okay, but here's where I would also argue with counting calories too. So, okay, totally playing devil's advocate on this. The people that do that, if it fits your macros, and I can go have McDonald's and I can have, for however many meals, and it still fits it still matches my calories. So, my one meal of McDonald's was 1,800 calories for the day. And so I hit my macros, or I hit, not my macros, I hit my calories for the day. So that's shit. That's garbage food, right? So
yeah,
could we just say that that's counting calories, but is it longevity? Is eating McDonald's every single day? And so what do you mean by counting calories? Like just counting calories and following the if it fits your macros kind of
yeah,
theory?
I would say like counting calories, meaning the only thing you care about is like what's on the nutrition label. But I put an asterisk here on tracking macros, because I mean like tracking macros well, doing it for its intended purpose to make sure you are getting like good quality protein. I mean, what else would we call it, right? Because yes, you can count calories poorly. You can track your macros poorly. Um,
So
there's a dog mouth.
pay attention to me.
So yeah, can we make the assumption that tracking macros like is with whole foods?
Yes, let's do that. Well, I think if you're at that point where you're tracking macros, that
You should already be there.
for the most part, like I said, there's still the if it fits your macros. So, but that's where I'm going with like the counting calories thing. Like there are people, sure, who count calories. Like, well, I'm only eating 1,500 calories a day, but it's one meal out at, like I just said, McDonald's or Cheesecake
Yeah.
Factory, and that's their meal. So it's for longevity purposes, no, because that's all shit food and
Yeah.
saturated fats. And, you know, like that's not for
Mm.
longevity. That's not. So
Yeah, this is tough. This is
it
tough. I don't know how I
depends.
feel about putting it below just strength training, but I kind of want to, like, if you're gonna track your food, do it the right way. Meaning
Yeah.
like, but it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
So, oh, okay, well let's leave it here. We might move it. Restrictive diets, low fat, keto, intermittent fasting. I'm gonna say that these might have a decent effect on your body composition, depending on where your starting point is. But it's funny because longevity is our x-axis here. And in my opinion, none of these are sustainable. So by
Right.
definition, they cannot provide longevity. So I kind of want to put them like here. So like initially at the beginning of your journey, maybe these are things you want to implement and you get some results from them, but they're not going to be sustainable. So you may see this initial bump in body composition, and you may be able to maintain it afterward if you transition well out of the diet. But as far as the diet is concerned, it's a temporary fix. So it can't be
Yeah.
on the longevity scale.
Right. I 100% agree with that, because it should be just a phase, a temporary thing that you do for a short amount of time. It should not be something you practice and implement forever.
Yeah.
So like you said, longevity wouldn't make sense there.
Fiber doesn't necessarily have like a direct impact on your body composition. I mean, but for longevity, like it totally does. So I don't really know where to place it on the scale. But maybe like around where we would put like the functional work and stuff. Like you need to, it's super underrated. Like you were saying with
Okay.
yes, yeah, walking, and like daily step count kind of stuff. Let's put it there. I think equally prioritizing like daily step count and fiber, probably a good idea for your gut health, and just it'll help with your food choices as well. So
Well, here's where I would argue it can affect your body composition. Because if you're not getting enough, then you're not digesting well, and that's going to make you retain water, get bloated, hold more visceral fat, hold more belly fat. Like if your digestion's off, that's going to affect your body composition for sure.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Do we want to put it like we could put it? It's like, is it going to affect your body composition more than like a sport or cardio though?
No.
Yeah. So we
Oh,
could put
well,
it like, I mean,
tough one.
if you're in a really bad spot, maybe, but I would hope that the majority of people are not at that spot where it would be that impactful. So, okay. All right. Those are all of our nutrition topics. Let's go into lifestyle. Okay. Sleep. I'm putting it in all caps, and I'm just gonna drag this bad boy right up here with tracking macros with Whole Foods. Okay, just put it there. Sleep. Okay. Let me write down the rest of them. You have any commentary on sleep, Shalise?
No. Again, that's one of those things that's so underrated as far like, no, you guys have no idea how important sleep is for everything.
It is our body's maintenance mode.
And
Where
I mean, it affects so much. Like if your sleep is off, it's going to affect everything from insulin sensitivity to cravings to cortisol to all the things. And that's going to, yeah, all the things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, feedback from wearables. Okay.
I just had a conversation with a client about that the other day.
Yeah. Okay, so of course, sleep. Another like king and queen up here. Hydration. So hydration to me is like similar to fiber, where it's like you just got to do it. Um, but probably maybe actually we do this instead. Put that down there. Body composition, like unless you are severely dehydrated every single day, I don't know how much of an impact it's going to have on your body comp, but it's really important for
longevity,
digestion, existence. It's a basic need. Stress management and reduction. I want to put this one on the line. I want to do it, Shalise. Do you agree? I want to put it. I want to put it like at the same level as I want to put it between sports and counting calories on the body composition. Maybe not. We could put it maybe like,
no, I would go up a little bit higher where you were.
yeah, or like a little bit more for longevity than body composition, but very close to the line. And like,
Because all
I
those
think,
things we are talking about are stresses on the body. So,
yeah,
I mean, whether we want to admit it or not, weightlifting, sports, all of that is a stress on the body.
yeah.
And some of us, I mean, yeah, it can be a good stress, but it's still a stress.
Mm-hmm. And this is different than recovery. I do have recovery separate. So I want to make that clear that this is like emotional stress management and reduction. Recovery stuff will be separate. Feedback from wearables.
Yep.
Can we get
Yes.
a moment of silence for feedback from wearables? And I just don't think that the technology is there yet. And most of the time it's going to be limiting you instead of encouraging you to do something that you weren't going to do that day. So the vast majority of people are not overtraining, they're undertraining.
Yeah.
So
And rely on that too much. And that's the conversation I had. I said, well, okay, but just be aware that if it tells you that, you wake up one morning and it tells you that you didn't have good recovery or good sleep or whatever, that if you're still feeling good, go work out. Like, don't rely on that to decide your day for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just so you know, I don't have much longer because I have another call I need to go on here pretty soon in the next 4 minutes.
All right. Let's do it then. I'll write out what we have left. So for recovery, I had sauna. That's a big one that I get questions about. Stretching / foam rolling is another one. Let's add in some supplements, multivitamin, vitamin D, creatine, stimulants. Gonna have a chat about that one. Electrolytes. Cool. Okay. So let's start with the 2 recoveries. So for sauna, definitely research that talks about the benefits for longevity. So more like heart health type stuff. If you're consistent with it, I'd put it with like maybe like a little bit less than our cardios, but on point with like yoga, functional work, sports as far as longevity goes. Body composition, I don't know of any direct benefit, so have it down there. Stretching and foam rolling, so you'll for sure, oh my goodness, sorry, these are too big. Stretching and foam rolling, in theory, if that's going to help with your recovery from the gym and injury prevention, there'd be like an indirect effect on body composition. Longevity, maybe just for injury prevention, but like, I don't know, maybe like on the line, kind of low down here. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Electrolytes. Can I just put it there? Can I hide it? I don't think majority of people need electrolytes. Like, yes, if you are one of these long distance runners or you're doing endurance sports, like maybe you need it. But what do you think, Shlace? Do you find that people need electrolytes?
Yes. So if you think about what electrolytes are, magnesium, calcium, sodium, potassium, we need
Yeah.
those things, right? That's part of our nutrition. So,
Yes.
like specifically like searching out and doing LMNT and like getting specific things like drinks and stuff that are electrolytes. Okay, chill the fuck out on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Eating the foods and supplementing if it shows that you need it, that kind of stuff. Salting your food, like all of those things, like get it from your food because that's where it should come from first, always. I think electrolytes as a supplement, if like you are a big sweater, like you said, like supplementing it to make sure that you're not, yeah, what am I trying to say? Drinking it out, basically, flushing it out with what, like drinking. But electrolytes should come from your food. So I mean, I wouldn't put it as a not super helpful for longevity because it is, because you need electrolytes from your foods. So,
but as a supplement, like if we assume that nutrition is normal enough, like would you say majority of people don't need additional electrolyte supplementation?
Yes. I think yes.
Okay. Multivitamin. This may be like the top thing that we've discussed on
I'm going to put this, sorry, a little disclaimer on this too. So again, if you are like strictly whole food based and you aren't salting your foods, start doing that. First of all, please do that. I forgot what I was going to say. Besides that, shit, where was I going with that?
Multivitamin, electrolytes.
No, it was back to the electrolytes is,
flushing
if you are like on top of your water and you're drinking, a gallon plus a day, a lot of the times you are flushing those out of your system. So be very careful. Like seriously, start salting your food if you're the majority of your food is whole foods. So we know that highly processed food has a lot of sodium, right? So you're going to get it from that. But when you change from a highly processed food diet to a whole foods diet, you're going to cut back on a lot of sodium. So make sure you're adding that bit back in with some iodized salt, all the other electrolytes we were talking about. And so if you are like sweating it out or drinking a ton of water, yes, electrolytes might be a good idea. If you find yourself getting headaches a lot, then it might be something like that where you need it. But again, do I think anybody needs to be, like you were talking about supplementation? Yes. Do I think everybody needs to be drinking an LMNT on a daily basis? Absolutely not. I think that's way too much.
Okay. So kind of in that same realm, a multivitamin, we've kind of talked about this on our lives, that unless your nutrition is like severely restricted or your diet for some reason is like you're eating way less food or you're in a prep or something like that, you would definitely need a multivitamin. But in general, if you are eating whole foods, you might not need to take a multivitamin, unless you know there's something you're deficient in.
I do have to go. So are you good for the rest of the one?
Yeah, there's just 3 more and then we'll finish up.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah. All right. Have fun for the rest of them.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. And we'll finish up with the last 3. So going into vitamin D, this one going to be very important for longevity, but definitely only take it if it's something that you need. So if you have gone to the doctor and they're like, oh, look, it looks like you're deficient in vitamin D, that's when you're going to want to be taking it. Don't just take it because it's on this chart. So creatine we'll place next. Creatine is definitely going to be beneficial for both your body composition, and there's a decent amount of research coming out that suggests that it would be beneficial for longevity, but I don't know like how much weight I want to put on that. I'm still going to put it on the line. But this is kind of like pending research. So we'll put it with vitamin D. You know, when you're pairing creatine with strength training, it's going to be the most effective for body composition. But just taking it alone should also be good for longevity. So we'll place it right here. And then stimulants. So this is included in this. We have like caffeine, alcohol, marijuana, nicotine, the four big boys. And so these stimulants, I mean, really, I'm gonna put them here. There may be some like perceived benefit from like small amounts of stimulants, but really like at the end of the day, the overall risk is way greater than the long-term benefit of using these things. So that is everything that I have. Some other items on here that I don't feel comfortable placing on the chart quite yet, just because I think we need a little bit more information and context of an individual to say like where we would put it on this graph, if we would even recommend it. Things like peptides, mitochondrial health is a big topic these days in the health and fitness podcasts, which is like, it's a really, really cool topic, but it's still just so new. Adaptogens, so that's like your ashwagandha, you've got like any sort of like reishi mushroom type supplement. Probiotic and prebiotic foods, that's one where it's like you just have to be very careful what you are introducing to your body and in what quantities to make sure your gut health is good. Just taking a probiotic to take one may not be a good thing. And then also cold plunges and ice baths when it comes to body composition and longevity. I don't know of any research that shows that a cold plunge or an ice bath is good for either one of those. So I can't even put it on the graph. There's a potential, and I know that there's mental health benefits from doing that, but physically, I don't know that there's research to support that. So those are the kind of the honorable mentions that are not on the chart that could be on the chart in the near future. So before I end the call for you guys, I do just want to go over the chart now that we've placed everything. We were kind of going back and forth on where we wanted each item to lie on the chart. But now that we look at it, a way that you can read this is like, okay, if I care about my body composition, what are the things that I can do that will help the most? So sleep and tracking macros with whole foods. These two up here are going to be huge for your body composition. And then next would be strength training. So building muscle, that's going to be the next highest. Strength training for building muscle and strength training for performance focused. So everything below, let me draw you guys a line here. Let's make it, I don't know, green. Sure. So everything, let's say here, everything below this line, that is a blue line, not green, but that works for me. This is kind of our halfway point. So everything below this line is going to be like, and we'll do that for longevity as well. So like halfway through our longevity, just to see like, okay, what kind of impact do we really have here? Let me draw a better line than that. Go here. Cool, that works for me. So now that this makes sense, strength training and counting calories. So these things in this top right quadrant, that's going to be like really good for both body composition and longevity. In our top left, we don't really have anything. So there's not really going to be anything that's going to improve your body composition that won't also improve your longevity. And that's kind of by design, right? Just having a better body composition is going to increase your longevity. In our bottom right quadrant here, these are going to be more beneficial for longevity than body composition, but you see we do have a varying degree of body composition impact here. So stress management and reduction is like kind of right in the middle there. Below that, you'll have your sports, HIIT, endurance sports, then like cardio, swimming, and then we've got things like, fiber we placed, yoga and Pilates, functional work, daily step count, sauna, hydration. So things that you should be prioritizing for longevity that may not have that direct impact on body composition, but definitely indirect, like doing all these things like hydration, getting a good step count, doing like functional work, eating fiber, that's going to enable you to do all of these other activities that will improve your body composition. So there's like this back and forth between the two variables. And then anything in this bottom left quadrant here, really this is stuff where like you might want to think about the effort that you're putting into these things, or maybe not the effort, I should say, but the emphasis that you're putting on these things. Are they important? Like, yeah, I recommend creatine for all of my clients. If any one of my clients needs vitamin D, definitely take it. If you feel better when you stretch and foam roll, do this. But in general, if you have 30 minutes and you're spending it stretching and foam rolling instead of doing like maybe some cardio or some functional work, like that is where you could use this chart to help make a decision for you. So we didn't have any like case studies to go through tonight, but if you are curious about, using this chart for yourself and like placing everything based on what's important to you and what you enjoy, then by all means reach out to us and we can talk about how we would place it for your specific goals. But in general, a lot of people will say this, like, don't major in the minors. Don't put so much emphasis on like your supplementation or a diet that is restrictive instead of being like focusing on, oh, let's increase the amount of protein that you get by like tracking your macros. Let's increase the amount of whole foods you get. Let's increase your sleep. These are all things we want more of. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover tonight. So I'll say farewell for now, but I'll keep this. And then if at any point we want to edit this or add things to it, we can always return to it. So if you guys are joining the lives on Instagram, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays, then feel free to send in a question about this diagram and I can pull it up and we can talk through it. I would love to do that. And we can also change the axis here if we wanted to. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Next week we are just kind of doing a recap. It'll be the end of the competition season, so I'd like to list off everyone who competed and just kind of give like a little round of applause for people that did compete this year. And we'll talk a bit about bodybuilding. And, when we come into the new year, a lot of times people are going into prep. So if you're going to be starting a prep in January or shortly after for a show in the beginning of the season, this would be a good one for you to join on or at least listen into. So thank you guys for your time, and we will talk next week.